Hello, I'm Beverly DeGale.
And I'm Warren Lewis.
And we are the co-founders of the charity called the ACLT, the African Caribbean Leukemia Trust.
Today we want to talk to you about how you can give the gift of life to someone in need and how you can be the miracle that they're looking for. But before we talk to you about our story, we want you to consider what you would do to save the life of someone very close to you.
Our journey started in 1993 when our son Daniel DeGale was 6 years of age. He had been suffering with flu-like symptoms, and on our fourth visit to our GP surgery, we discovered it was something much more serious. A blood test revealed that Daniel was suffering with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. If we had waited another week to receive that diagnosis, sadly we would have lost Daniel. That was the beginning of the darkest phase in our lives.
Leukemia is a cancer of the white blood cells in the bone marrow, and like other blood cancers, is life-threatening. The bone marrow is a spongy material that looks like blood and is the factory where new blood cells are made.
The first stage of treatments for Daniel's leukemia was a 2-year course of chemotherapy and other toxic treatments.
Sometimes I'd have the odd headache or stomachache after I've just had chemotherapy, but at the moment it doesn't seem to be affecting me. Yeah, just try and take it day by day.
It was hard for us all to endure, but it worked. He was released and told by the doctors that he could now enjoy his life again, free from cancer.
However, those fun-filled months didn't last long, because in December, a routine blood test revealed he had relapsed. The cancer had returned.
And unfortunately, he actually came home from school on a Friday night to tell us that he'd been made captain of the football team, and we had to break the news that he'd unfortunately have to go back on treatment again. So obviously this time it was much worse.
At this stage, the doctors advised us that the only option left for Daniel was to have a bone marrow or stem cell transplant, which consists of collecting healthy stem cells from the donor and replacing them into the bone marrow system of the patient.
The difficulty in finding a match is that the patient and the donor must be from the same ethnic background. That's black to black, white to white, Asian to Asian, and so on. And their bone marrow type must be nearly identical. We looked for a match in our immediate family. Daniel's sister was checked, as brothers and sisters have a 1 in 4 chance of matching. Unfortunately, Dominique was not a match for her brother. Our extended family was also checked, but no matches were found. Orin and I knew about the bone marrow registry created through the Anthony Nolan Trust 24 years earlier. By 1996, they had surpassed 275,000 potential donors in the UK. Surely we would find a match for Daniel. But then our doctor broke the news that of those 250,000 potential donors, just 580 were black or mixed race. We were devastated.
I remember we were sitting in the hospital room listening to this news and thinking that other families and parents had heard this message before and had obviously lost hope at this stage, and they, metaphorically speaking, dropped the baton on the floor. So of course myself and Beverly looked at each other and realized we had to do something, and so we picked that baton up and started to run in the direction to try and help Daniel and others like him. And it was from that moment onwards that we started the ACLT.
During this time, we learned that within the black community, there was a total lack of awareness combined with a fear of needles and myths about giving blood.
I've got sickle cell trait, So of course I can't give blood or join the bone marrow register. Isn't bone marrow bits of gristle drilled out of your back, knee or hand with a large drill? If they get my bone marrow, aren't they going to clone me or tamper with my DNA?
Other people claim it's against their religion. However, all the major faiths of the world actually support the principles of stem cell, blood and organ transplantation alongside modern medicine. Most of the fears are generated from one generation to the next. And it's the ACLT's aim to break that cycle, to give people the facts, the real facts.
The biggest excuse of all is I haven't got the time. I asked you before to consider what you would do to save someone's life. Would you spend 5 minutes to save a person's life? That's all it takes to register. If you have ever wasted an afternoon on Facebook or binge watched your favourite show on Netflix, you have spent the time and energy it takes to save someone's life.
Now, donating stem cells is actually quite easy. In fact, it's like giving blood over a 4-hour period. It's painless, and 95% of matching donors choose this particular method because it's so easy. Using different media, print, radio and TV, our message spread like wildfire, and soon everyone wanted to help this little boy who had single-handedly brought our community together with one aim, to find him a matching donor. The day that we've been waiting and praying for finally came, and suddenly we let out our emotions of relief that a donor had been found for Daniel. Someone around the world had just stepped forward, and that waiting was finally going to be over.
Suddenly, this miracle person appeared out of nowhere, proving our theory that the donor could always be the next person who joined the register.
It now really is just a case of waiting. The family in the room just behind me, their emotions have been geared to this moment when Daniel meets the woman who gave him the gift of life for so long, and that meeting really is now just literally moments away.
My mind's blank, it's just anxiety now, just trying to pass time, wait for what's going to happen.
I'm so excited. And on pins and needles, I didn't think I would be like that, but the closer it gets, the more excited I am. I can hug him, right? It's okay.
I'm a very serious person, but you make me smile so much because you
need another hug, huh? I'm really so tired.
Just seeing Doreen as she walked through the door, your emotions just go through the roof.
I feel like we've known each other for ages already, like we've met each other before, talked a lot, but now in visual it's completely out of this world.
We believe Daniel waited too long for a donor to be found, and in all those years he was waiting, he had to endure too much chemotherapy, radiotherapy and other toxic drugs to maintain him. The doctors said they didn't know what the long-term effects of all of these medications and treatments would be. And to Daniel's cost, we did find out. Just before we lost Daniel, he asked us to continue with our work, and thankfully his legacy has continued to inspire many people from all ethnic backgrounds to sign up to the register. Since 1996, we have worked with Anthony Nolan, Delete Blood Cancer UK, the National Blood Service and the Organ Donor Register to raise awareness and spread the message.
ACLT has single-handedly registered tens of thousands of people onto the UK stem cell register, and we have found dozens and dozens of matching life-saving donors from all ethnicities, including those of white Northern European descent. We've also registered thousands and thousands of blood and organ donors. However, our work is still not done, as the best bone marrow matches are when the patient and the donor are from the same racial background.
We descend from the largest gene pool in the world, Africa, and we have the most diverse bone marrow types. Therefore, we need more black and mixed race people to get parity with other races in order to find matching donors.
White people at best have a 90% chance of finding a good match, whereas black people at best have only a 20% chance. And this is because there are 30 times more white people than black people on the UK stem cell register. That needs to change urgently. Black people are 3 times as likely as whites to develop kidney failure, and the need for Asian donors is 3 to 4 times higher than whites. Yet out of 21 million people on the NHS organ donor register, only 1.6% of those are of Asian origin and only 0.5% are black. And out of 1.4 million blood donors in the UK, only 1% are black donors. This is especially tragic because there's a very large need in our community because of sickle cell anemia. If we are to give hope to the next generation, this needs to urgently change. Lives are being lost not because a patient's match is not out there, it's just that the matching donor has not registered.
Our work will enable donor searches on behalf of black, mixed race and ethnic minority patients all around the world. Our long-term goal is to raise awareness about the importance of registering as potential bone marrow donors and about the need to donate blood regularly and to carry an organ donation card.
Together we can beat blood cancers like leukemia and save more lives. That's why we want you to get involved. There's so many ways that individuals and companies can help, whether it's making regular donations, fundraising, or raising free donations by shopping online.
We will forever be grateful to Doreen for donating her bone marrow cells to save Daniel. It's a life-changing experience when you give the gift of life to someone else. It's a small act that can transform the lives of entire families.
Thank you very much for listening.